Hi, welcome back to the lesson. I wanted to share with you some other fun ways to use background stamps. These are background stamps. Here is the butterfly one, and this is made by Penny Black, and this one is another tailored expression stamp, and the stamps are one big stamp. Like this is one big stamp. It's together, it's not going anywhere. It's one big stamp that you can really, in my opinion, pop out a bunch of fun things. So I'm going to show you how I do simple washes and glazes on this. So a wash is like one color down, and then you take a paintbrush and you glaze over it with another pigment or a different color just to add some pop. These are simple, fun backgrounds. So let me show you. So what I like to do is, for the star one, I'm going to just do like a diagonal and then let the color kind of flow each way. And for this one, I might do more of a flat wash, and that'll look really cool too. Okay, so I'm going to use New Gamboge, and I'm gonna go in that diagonal, and look at that, it's already looking really fun. And because I'm that person, I'm going to go ahead and start with, I'm going to use this iridescent gold, and I'm going to sprinkle it on already. Oh, that's going to look beautiful. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more water to this one. I'm going to move this tag out of the way. I'm going to use yellow, but I don't necessarily need it to be covered in yellow right now. Tap, 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 shake, shake, shake. That's the name of the game. Look at that. See, and already that's looking really cool. I'm going to spray this. I want a little bit of texture, but I don't need a lot. There's a lot going on right here. And if I add too much more, I will add a little bit more of this iridescent gold. And the best part about this is the shimmer you get. That's going to look really pretty. All right, I totally see this being a graduation card or a inspirational card to some of my friends. So I'm going to let that be. It looks perfect for what I want it to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let it dry and move on to the next one. Let's do butterflies. This time I'm going to use a lighter yellow, and I'm going to clean my work surface up real quick. So while my star panel is drying, I can work on this. And I really love this butterfly stamped panel because it looks realistic, and I don't know, it just makes me happy. I'm going to use a less, I feel like New Gamboge is very orange. Like if you are not looking for an orange color to start with, do not use New Gamboge. And for this one, I'm actually just kind of gonna go all over. This is called I'm gonna do a variegated wash, which is where it's very much like the floral one I did with you, that one, but it's gonna be even more or less controlled. and I'm not using red. I'm gonna use orange to start with. So we'll see if this is gonna work. I think it will. I have hope that it will. I mean, I want some orange, but I want to be more control on where the orange is. Tap, tap, taps. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. All right, I'm gonna let that be. I'm gonna let that dry very organically. If I do anything, I'm just gonna tilt it one way, just a tiny bit. there's a lot of texture in this card panel already, so I really don't want to add too much to the eye, but I do like using brushos for this technique because it is a very organic feel to it. You can't get this with watercolor because with watercolor you have a little bit more control. So for this I really like it. And then now that I kind of see where the yellows and the oranges are mixed, I can go in and add that texture. And this is orange that I have, and I'm putting orange on top of where the orange is already and leaving the yellows the way it is there. Look at that. And I can even add some texture to the butterfly wings if I'm careful, which I think I am. All right, now I'm gonna let that be. You can kind of see how the texture's going. It's looking really cool, actually. Okay, so let that dry. Oh, but before I do that, I am gonna add some of that gold. And I'm just gonna sprinkle it on. There, I sprinkled it on. Yeah, it's looking really cool. Kind of see it. It's just really fun. Okay, now this is pretty dry. When I say it's pretty dry, it's not bone dry, but it's dry enough that I can do something with. Now at this stage, if you wanted to heat tool it, you totally could. I don't think you have to. All right, and I'm actually going to take my red, and I think I'm going to use the OST red, and I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm using a size 8 round, small. It's smaller than this. This is a size 6 mop brush. Quill brush. It's a quill brush. This is just a size 8 round brush, and I'm gonna get this red. It's about there. I really like. And then this is the fun part. This is called glazing. I can color in those in those stars wherever I want. I don't want to color all the stars. I want it to look very sporadic. So I am being very diligent on where I want my stars at. And I'm actually going to add a little bit more pigment right there. Let's see. And I like to see kind of where my eye is moving. That also helps. Oh, look at how fun that is. And the cool thing is that it will, the glazing, you could do the whole card and it will look, it'll still, you can still see the orange on top. So when I do this, you can still see how it just turns a little bit more orange. And it's a very subtle look. It's not gonna be like in your face, here's red stars, but it is gonna just add to that. I'm gonna add a red star right here. All right, so there's another card panel. Now, when I'm ready to do something with it, all I have to do is add some embellishments, and this card is done. And that's what I love about background stamps with brushos is really these are 5-minute cards and I just love them. All right, so let's see how this is going to be. And I might not have to do a whole lot. I really like this panel. It's not completely dry yet, but you can kind of see the texture. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Now when you actually take the picture, you're going to be able to see all those details pretty close up. I will add some of the red to some of the butterflies, maybe the smaller ones, just to give them a little bit more, hey, I'm still here, look. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And so this is a nice way to kind of add to your card panel. I'm not trying to overpower the brushos. And with that, I just want to, but this is a really fun stamp to work with. Maybe I want this wing to be more red. Butterflies are usually symmetrical on each side. I like that. And this already has a little bit of red, so I'm just going to add to it a little bit more here. And then I'm going to walk away from that because I don't know if I can change. I don't know if I can make this any better. It's really cool the way it is. And I know that once I put a couple fun little embellishments on the card, you're gonna be loving it. So here are my two card panels, completely different with kind of the same technique. I've done both of these in purples and cooler colors, and those also turn out really pretty. So really the sky's the limit. I do recommend when you're glazing, what I did is if you use like purple on top of yellow, you're going to get a brown color. You're going to get a neutral color, which is great if you're doing landscapes or florals and you need a gray. But if you are just doing a card and you want that bright pop of color, I recommend staying in the same color family. So if you're with red, do a color that's next to the color wheel. Do orange or yellow. And glazing works best when you go from lightest to darkest, so that's why I started with yellow, did some orange, and now I'm to red. Same thing with if you were going to do blue, you would want to do like a light blue to a darker blue and then to a purple. Sort of thing with if you wanted a greens, you would start with yellow and then go to blue, and that would do green, and then you would do maybe a darker green or something to that effect. Bonus video on background stamped cards. You guys, thank you so much. I cannot wait to share with you some other ways that I like to use background cards. I got this one, this is the same one that we did before with the butterfly backgrounds, but I wanted to share with you maybe how I would use ultramarine instead of orange and yellow, which you know I love using the same colors, but I really love it. And you know what? I think I'm going to actually just use my brush on this. And make sure your brush is dry. Like that's like number one rule that I seem to always forget. And then I'm actually just going to... And I would say once you feel pretty confident with brushos, you can open up your brushos. But until you feel confident, I would not do that. All right, and then as soon as I'm done, or I think I'm done, I put my lid on it and I go and I find my beautiful spray bottle that I love, and then I spray. Okay, that is a whole lot of brushos. Let's do damage control, huh? This is where the fun comes in. Or the scary part comes in. You do have to work fast with this brushos. I love brushos for this reason, but you do have to work fast. And so this is like a very artsy, how'd they do that? Did they do that? Did it take them forever? Or did they just do it and hope that it turned out? We did it and we hope that it turns out. When I was playing around, I thought, oh, I wonder. So there's that. I know there's more brush on my panel, so and I really like how that is, this teal color. Just with one color, isn't that fun? Sometimes we make more work for ourselves, and if we just do one color, we're in good shape. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take my teal and I just kind of want to mesh it together, I guess is a good way to put it. Like I'm not adding, I'm just kind of adding to it. And what I will do is make a little pile of turquoise. So then if I need it, I have it right there. I'm going to go ahead and spray. Look at that. I love how this turquoise just really makes it look artsy. That's the best word. Artsy, right? So now when I'm looking at it, I want to be very strategic where I put the water. And so maybe I'll just add some right here, wherever I think it's going to add. So I don't want to, like if it's already beautiful, just let it be like right here. I don't want to paint the wing because the wing has that texture and it has that really pretty blend look to it. But over here, I want to add a little bit more just to add to it. And I think I'll add a little bit of pigment right here and down here. And then I think I might just walk away because I really like how there's this turquoise right here and it moves up to here and it goes over here. And I think if I just added a little bit right here, some strong turquoise right there, that's going to add to it. And maybe right here in this wing. I really love that purple, so I'm not going to mess with that, but I'm going to put some turquoise right there. This looks really purple, so I'm going to add some turquoise here and here. And maybe even just right at the bottom of that wing there. And so I'm kind of almost using this as like a glaze, like I taught in the other class, just to give it more dimension. Hopefully that makes sense. And sometimes, and I wonder, one of my favorite color combinations, and it has always been, is teal and brown. And so now this gets me wondering, what if I stamp this instead of in black and brown? But I don't know if that would really help. Okay, so I'm gonna let that be, because if I add any more turquoise to it, it's gonna take away from the ultramarine purpley color, and I don't want the turquoise to overpower. So I'm gonna wipe that away. I really like that. And I'm actually going to try some brown, and I'm going to add just a little bit of brown because I really do like brown, and I think this card can add some brown to it. There's some brown, and I'm going to do a very dry, thick, and I'm just going to add it to the body. It's pretty black, but I think that brown is really just going to add to it. Yeah, I really like that. I'm always amazed at how much fun it is just to play with color. And sometimes if you're not sure if it has a like a body, you just paint a little line and there you go, you got a body. Cool, I like that. I think I got this one to do and that one to do. There, I'm calling that done. Walking away from it before I make any more messes. But there you go. Isn't that great? That's gonna look really fun. It's always inspiring to me to find new ways to use the same stamp. So here are some of the different ways we've used this background stamp. Do you have a favorite? I'd love to know. You know, you can paint one panel and be happy with it. But then if you push yourself a little bit and you say, what if and you do something like this, this is a little bit more artsy, whereas I felt like this is a little bit more, like I didn't take as many chances as I did on this one. And this one pays off because I took those chances. I played with the two colors, whereas I knew that this one I just wanted a variegated wash and I wanted to color in some of the butterflies. And this one I just, intuitive painting at its best. So anyways, hope this helps you see different ways to use a background stamp and how not just one way is the best way. You really just play around and see what you like and see what works and what doesn't. Do a YouTube tutorial on some of the fun ways that I like to use brushos. So I stamped this watercolor panel on watercolor card, watercolor paper, not cardstock. It's watercolor paper from Canson. It's the XL series and it's 140 pound. I stamped this with a Tailored Expressions background star stamp and with Ranger's Archival ink in jet black. And now I'm ready to play. All right, so I want to actually take, I'm going to take teal, this teal color with brushos. And I have not played with it today, so I'm looking for my teal color. Turquoise, not teal, turquoise. And I'm actually going to try something different. I've been playing with washes all morning and I'm ready to mix things up a little bit. So I'm going to actually start really thick up here. When I say really thick, I mean like I am laying it on, man. Now what I'm gonna do, it's still a wash, it's still playing with color, which is my favorite. And now I'm going to drip, 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 and I'm gonna let it flow. There, you can see it just flowing down. That's my favorite. I love watching things. I love watching pigment just kind of flow on the page. This is one way to create a really fun background without it feeling super intense. You're just playing with color. There's no wrong way to do it. You get your fingers inky. It is like the best. And so anyways, so there it is. And that's a pretty light wash. And I think because I know I'm going to want it to be just a little bit lighter, I'm going to add a little bit more water to it and just let it kind of flow. It does look like a flat wash to me. It's not a flat wash, but in brushos standards, it's a pretty flat wash. So let's start with some ultramarine. And this time I'm being a little bit more strategic on it. I'm kind of staying up on the, I would call it like the first 2/3, the top 2/3 is where I'm really putting the brusho on. And I'm kind of staying away from the top. Just to add some interest, to some texture. I really like that. You can kind of see where the brush is going. And I don't take my card panel down because, well, first off, I want to control the brusho, and the way I have controlled the brusho is by moving it around and getting my fingers inky. It's just how I work. It's I get messy. It's fun. You should see my house. No, I'm joking. My house is actually clean. I like to have a clean house. But when I'm working in watercolor, it is so much fun to just get your fingers inky. And I'm really loving this. Like, it's a very light look right here, right around here. But I love it. And I think I'm going to just keep it just like that. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, is like the coolest new color. This is called Iridescent Violet. It's Sprinkle It, made from brusho, but when you put it on, I don't know if you're going to be able to see too much. The iridescent glitter mica powder is like purple. right now I'm not getting a whole lot on. I'm about ready to use my brush. I'm afraid of opening it and getting too much on. Let me get a dry brush. All right, so you can get a dry brush like this, and then I'm just going to sprinkle it on like this, and I didn't get too much on. A little bit goes a long way, so I'm always really hesitant of like putting a whole bunch on. I think that'll be enough. I think that's going to look really pretty. All right. And then to set the spray, I should probably not spray the whole bottle because I'll ruin it. Put the cap back on, put it away so you do not get water in your brushos. There, that's gonna look really cool. I'm gonna play around with it once it's dried a little bit, but there's a really pretty background, and I can't wait to show you another trick that I use for backgrounds. All right, I'm gonna do one more. This is from Blue Night Stamps. The stamp set is from Blue Night Stamps, and a dear friend of mine actually designed this background. And she had a lot of fun coming up with names for this, and I just think it's a great card for anniversaries, and I don't know, I have fun. All right, this time I'm actually gonna turn this way, and I'm going to spray the whole card panel down flat. There's a sheen of watercolor, which is fine. It's going to be a very loose and fluid card panel. I'm going to start with green actually, and we'll go with emerald green, and I'm going to put this right at the middle of the card. Okay. I feel like that's a pretty good start to it. And I'm gonna drip, take care of the rest. All right, and I'm gonna start. Look at that, how fun that looks. Okay, so now on each side I'm gonna do yellow. And we'll do this lemon yellow. There's yellow on this side and yellow on this side. I don't know if I want more yellow. It's not going. So I'm forcing it a little bit more than normal. All right, now what I can do is very lightly with my watercolor. There, I like that. That's gonna look cool. I'm gonna clean off my surface, as I really don't want yellow and green to mix too much. So there's where we're at. We got this green and we got this yellow right here. Now what comes after yellow? Orange. So we're gonna do some orange. I would do red, but I found that bright red, this brilliant red, and then even this lemon yellow is it works, but I really, really like New Gamboge. It's kind of like it's as if lemon yellow and brilliant red like got married, and we got New Gamboge, and it is like my new favorite pigment to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that right down here. I do not want it to get into the green, because then the green and the New Gamboge will make mud, and I don't want that. So I am trying to be careful where the New Gamboge color is. And if you're a watercolorist, you know that New Gamboge is a very warm, happy color. Did I really just say happy? I did. I love New Gamboge. It's really fun to play with. All right, and now again I have to really watch my edges. But we're gonna have this really cool background when we're done, and I think it's perfect for most anniversaries and or a friendship card. You're gonna be Batman and Robin, Snoopy and Woodstock. I mean, come on, it's awesome. And I'm going to add a little bit more here and a little bit down here. I want that texture. I mean, we use brushos for the texture. We don't use it for a wash. And I am going to use that green because I really want some more of that green texture to be. But now this time I'm just going to let it be. I might spritz the green just a tiny bit. There, just like that. And now we have a really cool card that's going to be perfect for an anniversary card. I have often seen people cut this bottom, the you and me part, and just kind of pop it up here. I don't think I'm going to do that because I really like the color blend here. But I don't know, I might give it a shot. And I think I see something right here that I'm just going to add a little bit more water to. And let it flow a little bit. And then that is how you can really get some cool effects with brusho. And once it's dried, it's gonna look fantastic. But there you go. And you get that texture, you get that color blending without doing a whole lot of work. And to me, what a fun piece of art this is. I would totally frame this in my room and just be happy every time I see it. So anyways, check out the stamp, check out the brushos, and please, if you had fun with this demo, check me out on the Fine Art Academy. They have a lot of great tutorials on brushos and watercolor. And while that is drying, this one's pretty dry, and what I want to do is add some more of that iridescent violet. And I'm actually gonna make a little puddle of it. I think that'll be enough. We'll see. I might be getting my paintbrush out. Get more. Okay, there we go. That'll look perfect. All right, so I have this little bit of powder on my work surface, and you cannot see it, but it's like right there. You can kind of see it's iridescent. And I'm going to try to get as much as I can out. Okay, now I got my brush, clean water, dab, and I'm actually going to use it as paint. And that's going to look really fun. And now I'm going to just paint over some of the stars and give it an iridescent look. I think I need just a tiny bit more water. And what it's doing is it's gonna dry and it's gonna look iridescent. And this is also called glazing. Yeah, I like that. You can hardly, it's going to be a very subtle look. How interesting. Yeah. And so maybe if I were to use a little bit of purple, it will add to that. Let's try that. There, that's looking better. Yeah. So in my class, I am teaching how to use brushos in an intuitive landscape. I will be showing you a lot on how I control brushos, how to make brushos work for your card layout, for your cards, and then just general card making tips. So if you are new to card making and you think watercolor would be a really fun medium to try, this class is made for you. Also, if you've been with card making for a while and you're looking to find a new technique or a new way of doing things, this might be the right choice for you, because I have lots of different ideas to throw at you. I have spent probably close to 40 hours developing and videotaping my card class. So there's a lot of information in this card class, and I cannot wait to share my love of watercolor and brushos with you. But so this is fun. I mean, I could go on and keep painting little stars in purple all afternoon. But my point is that a little bit of brushos and it goes a long ways, and I really love how the sprinkle, it just kind of gives us this iridescent quality to it. When it comes to glazing or adding color on top of a watercolor panel, you don't want to, I didn't want to paint all the stars because then my eye, it just won't look as pleasing. But when you use just a little bit of glazing, and I'll paint this one as well, it just adds to that card panel. You think, oh, there's some art quality to it, more so than I thought. And that's what we want. You don't want it to be the same. Now, a fun way to do this also is to do this in yellow, and then do like a red, and you'll get like this pinkish, orangish color, and then that's really fun too. So, anyways, here's the 2 cards that we made. The 2 card panels. Now, all I would do when it was done is I would just, once it's completely dry, when it's completely dry, it will lay flat again. To just really just mount them onto some card bases and add a little bit of, I don't know, embellishments if you wanted to. For this one, I'm going to put like maybe a celebrate or a something, so it's not just a general star card, but I think you could leave it like that if you wanted to, if someone really loved purple and stars together. Anyways, I hope this gives you some ideas on how to use brushos. Check out my class if you want. I'll have the link below, and we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy your painting sessions.